By day, Robert Hunter is a sheriff's deputy, serving warrants in North Carolina. By night, he sings and plays guitar. But all the time, he's a husband and dad, and it was his adorable family that made the voice coach Kelsey Ballerini squeal with delight after his blind audition for season 27 tonight. "Tomorrow is never promised," Hunter explained, reflecting on a friend in law enforcement he lost in the line of duty. Robert Hunter sings Cody Johnson's "Till You Can't" on The Voice season 27 blinds. With that in mind, Hunter performed a stirring rendition of "Till You Can't" by Cody Johnson that made Ballerini turn around and tell her fellow coaches to stay out of my way. His deep, rich voice got a chair turn from coach Michael Bublé as well, marking the umpteenth time these two coaches have gone head-to-head over an artist. "I love the power in your voice. It sounded like a passion performance," said John Legend. Meanwhile, Adam Levine contextualized Hunter with the many artists that he's heard in blinds over the years. He was a coach from season 1 through season 16, making this his 17th time in the chair. 80 artists times 17 equals a lot, he said, explaining, "I've retired from turning around for country artists. Country musicians hate me." In the blind auditions for season 27 of The Voice, Robert Hunter's performance of "Till You Can't" left an indelible impression on everyone in the room. His performance was particularly powerful and emotionally charged. In addition to the fact that his natural talent was readily apparent, his journey also carried with it a profound and personal connection that went beyond the typical auditions that are performed on stage. In the midst of him pouring his heart into the song, his daughter, who was sitting backstage, became an essential component of the narrative that was being told in front of the coaches. During his performance, Robert did not simply focus on hitting the right notes. Rather, he emphasized the importance of passion, vulnerability, and the creation of a moment that resonated with anyone who has ever experienced regret or adversity. The song "Till You Can't," which was made famous by the country music star Cody Johnson, is a song that discusses the importance of living life to the fullest, letting go of regrets, and making the most of the time that we have. It's a message that resonates with people all over the world, but it was one that particularly resonated with Robert. Robert's voice, which was rough around the edges but incredibly tender, filled the stage with emotion from the very first chord that he played. It was abundantly clear that this song meant something to him that went beyond merely being a performance. It was a proclamation of living in the present, of enthusiastically embracing life, and of making the most of every opportunity while you still have it. The dedication of a father's complete heart. Robert went through a journey that was intensely personal. It was impossible to avoid feeling the weight of his words as the lyrics of "Till You Can't" reverberated throughout the arena, throughout the performance. According to Robert, however, this performance was more than just a musical moment for him. It was a message to his daughter, a message that time is fleeting, that love and relationships are precious, and that regret is something that we should all go out of our way to avoid. Despite the fact that she was not physically present on stage with him, it was impossible not to feel the connection that existed between the father and the daughter as they listened to him sing. Every note seemed to carry with it a sense of urgency, as if he was reminding himself of the things he wished he could have done sooner. His passion was palpable, and every note seemed to carry with it these same feelings. Robert poured his whole being into the song, and his voice wavered in a way that can only be achieved by those who have a profound comprehension of the lyrics. The only thing that was present was a man singing with everything that he had to offer. There was no pretense or affectation. His performance was captivating due to the rawness it contained. It was one of those rare moments in music where you could feel the artist's soul in the delivery, and it was the kind of moment that made it impossible not to be moved. The feeling that he was conveying through his singing seemed to take on a life of its own as he sang. Through his effortless delivery, he conveyed the anguish of not having said or done things sooner, as well as the regret that comes with opportunities that were not taken advantage of. On the other hand, the beauty of the performance lay in the fact that he did not dwell on the sadness. Rather, he took the listener on a journey of redemption. As he continued his audition, It was obvious that Robert was taking the message of the song, which is about the power of living without regret, serious consideration. When Robert reached the powerful bridge of the song, where the lyrics speak about seizing hold of life and not waiting for the perfect moment, the coaches were visibly affected by the depth of emotion in his performance. This was because the lyrics speak about not waiting for the perfect moment. The raw power of his voice was undeniable, and it was evident that each note resonated with something that was profoundly associated with him. It is common knowledge that Adam Levine, who is known for his appreciation of daring and emotional performances, was the first person to turn their chair. It was impossible for him to conceal his admiration for Robert's voice. Adam uttered the words, "Man, that was unbelievable," with a voice that was thick with emotion. Your voice carries a great deal of power, and you are carrying the weight of the lessons that you have learned in life in every word that you say. Your tone of voice exudes an authenticity that cannot be refuted in any measure. I'd be thrilled to collaborate with you, man. Adam's praise was not only directed toward the technical execution, rather it was directed toward the heart that Robert put into each and every notation. In the following step, Michael Bublé, a coach who has a strong connection to performances that are emotionally charged, turned his chair. Robert's performance was not an exception to his reputation for appreciating music that conveys depth and nuance, and he certainly lived up to that reputation. "There is something about your voice that speaks directly to the heart," Bublé remarked to Robert. "Something about your voice? It is unfiltered, it is genuine, and it is precisely the kind of feeling that people are in need of hearing at this very moment. To be able to assist you in navigating this journey would be an honor for me." Not only did Bublé admire Robert's talent, but he also admired the genuine emotion that Robert brought to the stage, and the sincerity in his voice is a reflection of this admiration. The next person to take his seat was John Legend, who is well known for his emotionally intelligent and soulful performing style. The legendary musician remarked, "That was an incredible performance. The manner in which you successfully communicated the message of the song, there is such a depth to your voice that it is impossible to ignore. You've done a great job of conveying the message that this song is trying to convey." A combination of his admiration for Robert's command of his voice and his acknowledgement of the emotional depth he possessed made it abundantly clear that Legend recognized something exceptional in Robert. Last but not least, Kelsey Ballerini, a coach who has a keen interest in discovering artists who have a distinctive voice and a profound connection to the subject matter, was visibly moved. Kelsey remarked, "I am completely blown away by the quality of your voice. Because of the way in which you express yourself through music, this stage is in dire need of your talents. Authenticity is something that I'm always looking for, and you have a lot of it. I am looking forward to working with you." Robert's ability to connect not only with the audience but also with each coach on an individual basis was demonstrated by her words. The importance of the performance from an emotional perspective. The sincerity and emotional weight that Robert Hunter brought to the stage was what made his performance stand out from others. It wasn't just his incredible vocal ability that made his performance distinctive. Every single line of "Till You Can't" was a testimony to his own life experiences, and in a sense, he was providing a glimpse into his heart that he was sharing with the world. It is a song that encourages one to have an awareness of the fleeting nature of life, and Robert exemplified that awareness. Instead of merely singing the words, he was actually living them out. The authenticity of his performance was of the kind that could only come from someone who had a deep understanding of the lessons that the song was trying to convey. In addition to the universal themes that were communicated through the song, there was also a personal element that contributed to the overall exceptional quality of the performance. The decision that Robert made to pursue his dreams and perform on The Voice was largely motivated by the fact that his daughter was present and supporting him from the backstage area. It was easy to feel the connection that existed between the father and the daughter, and it added an additional layer of depth to an audition that was already emotional. It was obvious that Robert was not singing for himself alone. Rather, he was singing for the future. He was singing for his daughter, for the lessons he hoped to teach her, and for the moments he wished he could have back. A defining moment was when he decided on his coach. In the midst of the coach's expressions of admiration and the spinning chairs, Robert was confronted with a decision that had the potential to change the trajectory of his musical journey. Every single coach had a different point of view on what Robert could bring to the table, and every single one of them recognized the potential that was present in his voice. Robert's authenticity drew Adam Levine. Michael Bublé admired his raw emotion. John Legend admired his vocal control, and Kelsey Ballerini recognized the connection Robert had with the song. All of these artists were impressed by Robert's performance. Having given it a great deal of thought, Robert ultimately decided to hire John Legend as his coach. He was of the opinion that Legend's capacity to connect with the emotional core of a song would be beneficial to his development as an artist and as a performer. A promising future lies ahead. Robert is just getting started on his journey as he continues to progress through season 27 of The Voice. A defining moment was not only for him, but for everyone who witnessed his heartfelt performance of Till You Can't. His performance was a moment that he will never forget. It is without a doubt that Robert Hunter's passion and natural talent will reach new heights with John Legend's direction. This audition was more than just a performance. It was a demonstration of the strength of a father's love for his daughter, the lessons that life has to offer, and the power of music. In spite of whatever happens in the future, one thing is certain. Robert Hunter's journey on The Voice is destined to inspire not only his daughter, but audiences all over the world who recognize the power of vulnerability and passion in music.